channel.
If you have not taken a look at the ship tour yet that I put out last week and the mini video to go alongside it about the stateroom we stayed in, definitely take a look at those. That's going to be a full tour of the ship. Here, I'm going to show you the food, the shows, and the entertainment, things that you can do on the ship. Just what everyone wants to do on an Alaska cruise where the weather is a little bit chilly, a little bit unpredictable. You have the flow rider. If you've been on other ships and hated the lines, guess what? You don't have that problem here. Next to the flow rider is the RipCord, and that was under heavy construction. Like I mentioned last week, we did not get to do it. I would have loved to. So now we're going to have to find another ship that has this experience so that I can do indoor skydiving on a cruise ship. I think that would be so much fun. Moving down, we have a climbing wall that is right next to Felicia the bear, which they did have one activity that was an adult climbing wall competition and a children's climbing wall competition. We didn't make it out for those, so I don't know how busy it was. I saw a few kids on the climbing wall, but it wasn't really busy the whole time. Going into the Seaplex, they do have a huge area for different sports like pickleball. They had a few days with bumper cars set up, which I thought could have been really fun. We didn't end up going to that. It was very busy, really packed the whole time. So it was a really, really nice little entertainment complex for mostly kids and families. And this brings us to the Northstar experience. So on the quantum level ships. So that's going to be Anthem, Odyssey, Ovation, Quantum, and Spectrum of the Seas. You have the Northstar experience where you get in a little bubble and it raises up and you get a full 360 view. The fun thing about this is that they do have a Guinness World Record for the tallest viewing deck on a cruise ship. You go 300 feet up in the air. So there are going to be 3 different options for this experience. The first one is going to be the free options. So on port days, you can schedule a time slot. And like I said about everything, get on the ship, schedule immediately. They fill up so fast. Every person gets to schedule one free time slot where you can go up on a port day and the arm just goes up and down. It doesn't do the extended experience. It is really cool. It's a very different thing. I think it's so fun. I think the free experience was obviously worth it. We did that on the first day because that was the only time slot I could find open for any day. I found one time slot. So we did our Northstar experience in Seattle. I showed the views in last week's video, so take a look at that because it is very cool. The second option, you can go up on a sea day. We just wanted to show everyone the beautiful, wonderful view from our balcony the morning of day 1, day 2. Day 1 is port day, day 2 is our sea day. Here's our view. And that is $49 to go up for the Northstar extended experience. So what that is, the Northstar goes up and then it rotates. So you're on both sides of the ship. It goes back and forth and then back down. So it's a 15-minute free experience versus a 20-minute extended experience. Sea days, $49. Based on our sea days that were pretty cloudy, I don't know what all you're going to see when you're up there. I did not do the sea day experience because if I'm paying, I'm going to go on the day. I don't know if a sea day is worth paying for. I think the port days have far more to see and it's a little bit more exciting, but that's up to you. The Northstar extended experience at Norris Glacier is $109. $109 for 20 minutes. $5.45 per minute to get a view of the glacier from 300 feet up in the air. Let me know what you think. Was it worth it? I might have got. I must have lost my dang mind. It's 5:30 a.m. I booked the Northstar extended experience for 6 a.m. Well, I just saw what I'm walking out onto. I don't know, but I'll show you the Northstar extended. I'll show you the view from the top, and I'll tell you if it was worth it. My fingers are crossed so hard, but also Kyle was like, no, I'm gonna sleep, and he's asleep right now, and it looks so nice. Here we go. It's a little rainy. I still am, you know, a couple weeks later, I'm still thinking about it, and I did think it was really cool and I did enjoy it, but I don't know if it was a better view than maybe deck 6 where we had our second room, where we had the balcony. I chose the 6 a.m. time slot. That was the only time available. The only time. I had like looked at it, and it was a week out, and then it was like overnight that everything was almost full and there was one left. So I chose 6 a.m. The best time slot I think would be probably like the 6:40 or 7 a.m. because you might be a little bit closer to the glacier, which could be very cool. It wasn't that my experience was necessarily bad by any means. It was very cool. It was very different. Was it worth $109 to go up in the air for 20 minutes? Nope. Nope, it was not. Maybe a different time slot would have been a little bit better because it was a little bit foggy, or there's some condensation on the glass when we got up there, so it was kind of hard to see. I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't do the extended experience again. I would do the free experience for sure. So as you just saw, that was the first view of Norris Glacier I'm going to show you, which was from the Northstar extended experience. It was $109 to get that view. The second view you're going to see here is from the top deck. You can see it's actually really, really busy. There were so many people out and about taking videos, taking pictures. I did have my stick that I could extend, so I didn't have to get really crowded in, and the views were great. You could see a lot from the front of the ship. The third view I'm going to show you is from the stateroom 6120. So there are staterooms on deck 6 that are obstructed. However, our stateroom was not, and the view was absolutely fantastic. It was beautiful. I thought out of all the views I got, that was the best one because we were right there, just staring at the glacier. No condensation like on the bubble that I was in. There wasn't a packed viewing deck like the top deck. It was very peaceful, really cool just to get some binoculars out and take a look at the glacier. My best viewing I had was on deck 6 out of all the different perspectives I had. One thing we typically do not go and do is all of the drawings for different things. Sometimes we'll pop in and put our name in the spa raffle, which I did win once. That was really cool. But we normally don't really worry about these. I did see on this cruise this activity, which was an art display, and then they had a drawing to go with it where you could win one of the pictures. And I only went because it was Alaska wildlife photography, and I thought that was so cool and something really different. You're not going to see that on a Caribbean cruise. So we went. The pictures were so pretty. We loved the animals. We loved even just walking around and looking at the pictures, regardless of if we won a drawing or not. That wasn't really the point of why I was there, but that was an activity that we did that we don't normally do, and I'm glad we did it. We are going to Sequins and Feathers today, one of the shows on the Royal Cruise in the Royal Theatre. Here's the Royal Theatre. So there are quite a few posts, which I'm not a fan of, but it does look like a really nice theater. So the show starts in about 15 minutes, and we did get the front row. So we'll see what the show looks like from there. Here's our seats. I made him get the front row. Oh my gosh, front row here is like 2 feet from the stage. We could have reached up and touched people. We were so close. It was wild. We've never sat that close before. I swear at other theaters, the front row is still a good 10 to 15 feet back from the stage. Nope, not here. We were all up in everybody's business. I hope you enjoy the show. We did. Being in the front row this time, it was insane. just saw Feathers and Sequins. Kyle, what did you think?
You get to see some navel.
It was like very Vegas showgirl, PG-13 show. It's the only show I've ever seen that says it's PG-13. Loved it so much. The music was amazing. I love going to shows on royal ships. The first royal cruise we went on had an ice skating rink. They had the high dive. It was just so different than the shows on this cruise. Everything is just very unique. So Sequins and Feathers was the first show. You saw that here, and it was very Vegas style, Vegas showgirl, one of my favorites. We saw the Juggler, who was like a comedian juggler. I'm going to show that here in a second because some of my favorite things in the shows happened in this specific show. I'll explain in a minute, but it had me laughing so hard. We went to the comedian, so he did have a regular show. We went to the adults only show. That one was really great too. We went to Starwater. That was the only show in 270. The other theater, everything else was in the Royal Theater. That was the only show that we needed a reservation for, that we had to schedule before getting on the ship, and it was actually really difficult to get a reservation for a time that made sense because the cruise port times were really different. So we did make it. We didn't actually go to our reserved time. We waited in line to go during a different time. So we were on the standby, and it was not ideal. The seats, there are a lot of bad seats in the theater. You'll see that here in a second. The Sonic Odyssey show, that was also one of my favorites because we have this earth organ piano thing that the guy created, and it just was so cool. He just kept bringing out all these different instruments made out of other things, and it was very different than other shows. And Royal, they leaned into a lot of contemporary dance, which I really thought was very cool. It was not all pop kind of music and pop dance. It was a lot of contemporary, very different. I loved all of the shows because they were all so different. They each brought something to the table that I had not seen before. I'm going to show you the rest of the shows here. We just saw Sequins and Feathers. I hope you loved that because I certainly did. Take a look at the rest. I hope you enjoy. Like I just mentioned, the Juggler was, it was a comedy show all in its own. So he invited kids in the crowd to be interactive and playful, which just made it so funny. So there was a kid in the front row, probably no more than 10 years old. The Juggler, he's telling his whole story about how he got into whatever. And then he's like asking the kid in the front, he's like, "Oh, what did you think of that?" And the kid goes, "That was a waste of time." It's just, the Juggler's like, "Oh, good, I poured my heart out about my whole life story just to waste your time." And he was so lighthearted about it. So then partway through the show, the Juggler, he takes a towel and he like wipes his face off because he's sweating, right? He's up there juggling. The theater's packed. The theater is packed. But you just hear this tiny voice in the back. It's so far back. And you just hear this tiny voice going, "You don't have any hair." It projected through the whole theater and everyone just burst out laughing. And the comedian Juggler was like, "Yeah, I know I don't have any hair, and someday you won't have any hair." And he was so playful with the kids, but the things that kids were saying and just so comfortable just saying in front of an entire theater of adults was so funny. It was so funny. So this is where we were yesterday for the show, and it was really cool, but There are bad seats in the theater. Like sometimes I love the theaters, like the Royal Theater, there's almost no bad seats, but here. So I was sitting right there and I could see the stage pretty well. They do have levels that come up so you can see the dancers, but Kyle and his parents were stuck all the way back here in one of these tables over here. So they could barely see half the show. And that's kind of disappointing because that was the only show that you actually had to have reservations for. And when we did the reservations, we could only do day 5 or 7, but day 6 was the C day, and there was like an app glitch or something, so we could never get day 6. That was the day to go. We're in Victoria the whole time that the show's going on today. So if you can get a reservation, get one for a C day. Definitely go to the show. It starts off a little slow, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was very cool. There's a lot going on in the theater as far as like sound and the lights and everything moves. It's really, really a pretty theater, but you do want seats as close as you can get. That's definitely the way to go. I'm in the 270 theater. It's the same theater that we had Starwater in last night. I have a Bollywood dance class this morning. There have been probably 5 or 6 other dance classes throughout the cruise. I didn't make it to any of them, so I really wanted to come to this one. Dance starts in 15 minutes. I absolutely love Bollywood, so I'm so excited to give it a try. I just did the Bollywood dance class. It was so much fun. I felt bad for the instructor because the normal instructor is sick, so she had to fill in. It's a difficult dance style in general, so I can't imagine having to learn the moves and then fill in on something like this. She did a great job. It was so much fun. Everybody was just having a great time. And because we're in 270, it is all windows. It's all windows. You can see the ocean. And she saw a whale in the middle of the dance class. So I'm on a cruise ship doing a dance class, and then you can see whales in the same theater. How crazy. Okay, here's the wall. That's so pretty. Look at it. The scenery. I think that's so nice. There's a couple different ones like that. Here's the food, and this is going to be the main dining room food in a speed review. So the beef tenderloin, medium rare, is really good, very tender. I typically don't order it, especially not medium rare. I think I like my stuff just cooked a little bit more. The spring rolls were awesome. They were crispy. They were gigantic, way bigger than I thought they would be. They did have veggies inside. We had the pan-seared dumplings, which we equally liked. I think those had chicken in those. And then I got the sweet and sour pork. Kyle got the teriyaki chicken. His was definitely better. Mine was okay, but it was like a fried pork and it wasn't very crispy. I had the matcha passion fruit cake. You can't go wrong with the dessert, honestly. Buffalo chicken dip was really good. There, you only get like 5 chips, and I need about 100 more. Creamy potato soup. It looks crazy here, but it was good. It was just really thin, and I think I like a thicker soup. We had the fried chicken with sweet potato and corn. It was really juicy, really tasty. Pulled pork sandwich. For me, if I'm trying to reduce eating meat, pulled pork is my gateway meat. I eat pulled pork and then I start eating meat. It is So good. And this was no different. It was absolutely delicious. All right, I didn't order dessert because I'm stealing his. But the key lime pie is so good today. What do you think? Like I did on the Seascape. When I ordered the filet mignon that did cost extra, I did that here as well. This is the Chops Grill filet mignon. It was about $24. It was good. I would not order it again on this ship. The Seascape one just had more flavor, more marbling. It was just really good. Chocolate cake. I'm obsessed with chocolate. This one was like the fudgiest, gooeyest, crazy dessert. It wasn't like a cake necessarily. It was more like a chocolate fudge. Chicken and waffles with hot honey syrup. Yes, yes, and yes. Everything was delicious. I had the sirloin steak. I ordered that medium. That one was really good. I think the sirloin steak, probably the same amount of good on the ship as the filet mignon that I paid for. And then in the Seaplex, you can go to the doghouse and you can get some of the hot dogs. Kyle did get one of the hot dogs. He said it was really delicious. I'm going to show you the menu here so that you know what options you have. So they have the Coney Island, the Big Apple, the German, the Smokehouse, and different toppings, condiments, and sides that you can get. Those are all included. So if you're in the Seaplex and you do bumper cars, pop over, get a hot dog, and enjoy. The final activity I'm going to show you is the belly flop competition. It was on the last day and the weather just opened up. It was sunny, it was warm, it was beautiful. And because America, because we're on a cruise ship, here's some people doing some belly flops.
Oh, he's dead.
Lifeguard out there. One, stop.
I hope you enjoyed seeing all the food, the entertainment, the different things you can do on board. Stay tuned because in the next couple weeks I have our excursions coming out and I have the port review, so Ketchikan, Juneau, Sitka, and Victoria. The next things we have coming up, we are headed on a Carnival cruise over to Celebration Key. And I want to see what is that all about. I'm so curious. From what I've read, I think there are going to be some really good things, and I think there are going to be some things that are a little bit questionable. And then we're doing a back-to-back. So we're doing the cruise to Celebration Key. We get back to Florida. We fly directly to Atlantis, to Paradise Island in the Bahamas. I have all of that coming out pretty soon. Make sure you stay tuned. There's a lot going on. You don't want to miss any of it. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next trip.
Goodbye, everybody, goodbye.